Okay guys, I just picked this thing up. It is the Cobalt 7 1/4 inch 24 volt max dual bevel sliding compound miter saw, and it is cordless. Now no batteries are included with this, no batteries. So let's open this thing up and see what it looks like. And here's what it looks like with the when you just first open it up. So you get your dust bag, some kind of a handle. This is your clamp down for your stock, your operator's manual here. I don't know if there's anything underneath of it. Kind of hard to get it out. That's interesting. There we go. Nope, nothing else is under that. And we've got a little item right here. Some kind of bolts. We'll have to see what those are for. And here we see the saw as it's packed in there. Very well done. I do see a spring loose down here. See what that came out of. Very nice. And what I did here is I marked an X on the box, and then the top piece of styrofoam I marked an X on. And then let me mark an X on here. Put an X over here so that if I ever have to get this back together, say there's something wrong, I gotta take it back to the store, I know the orientation of everything. Alright, and this is what it looks like right out of the box. Now it does have this tag on here, and I looked online. It does say that they recommend their 6 amp hour battery for peak performance. I don't even have their 6 amp hour. I've got tons of their 4 and about 6 of the 2 amp hours. So I may buy one, I may not, a couple, but for the moment we're going to be using 4 amp hour. So the first thing I want to do is bring this head up, and this is the knob that you want. So I'm going to push down on the head, pull this out. That allows the cutting head to be brought up and out of the way. So let's take some of this packing off. There's a knob here. I'll have to find out where that goes. That was sitting here. And I'm going to bring the release lever up, and that should allow me there, and then push down, that locks it. Now it's not clamped down, and that'll lock it down. And of course it's got all these stickers on it. I'll be taking all those off, but just to look at a few things here: 0 to 48 degrees left, 0 to 46 degrees right, dual bevel. Of course, as I said, it's the 24 volt max brushless motor, and the miter range, 9 positive miter stops. Left to right, it does 0 to 48 degrees in either direction. And the vertical capacity, 3 1/4 inches baseboard against fence, 3 5/8 inch nested crown molding. Also, it does state online that the sliding design allows for cross-cutting standard 2x10 lumber. So that'll be nice. Alright, so this is the Cobalt item number 105123, and it's the model number KMS 072. 24B-03. Now the regular price on this is $269. Now they had it clearanced at my local Lowe's for $215.20. So I'm not sure if they're coming out with a new model or what. Well, I checked with the one manager to see if I could get a little bit cheaper. They had one in a box. They may have had more elsewhere. And make a long story short, I ended up getting it for $200 plus tax. And the lady actually showed me that the $215 was below their cost. $236 was their actual cost of this, supposedly. And she said they make their money on the batteries. So that's amazing. If it's $269 the regular price, and their cost is $236, so it's quite interesting. So anyways, I got it for $200 plus tax. So let's start our observation of this. The base is nice aluminum, very lightweight, and it's got holes in it to where if you want to screw it down, bolt it down front and back to a workbench, sawhorse, whatever it may be, you have that option. Another really nice feature that I like about this is it's got this built-in handhold on both sides. Very nice. I never like to lift any precision instrument tool by this, by the head. I always lift them up on the sides, or I've got a big 15-inch Hitachi power miter box that I've got in the mid-80s, and I actually made a base for it with handles that come off to carry it. It's just huge and heavy. But so I really like this. This is a sweet design right here. Like I said, it's got them on both sides. Very easy to grip. Get your hand in there. Nice firm grip. I love that. Really, really a nice feature. Now while we're looking at the table and the fences, both sides have this locking knob right here on the back. You loosen that up, and that allows you to take and slide this extension. It actually will come off. So you can slide that, lock it down, so it gives you more space here to rest your stock on when it's longer. And both sides do that. It also does not allow you to go in all the way. There's a stop right there, so it stops, so that way you can't get it in danger of hitting that blade if you were to have it in too far. So that's really nice that they did that, because it doesn't take much to forget and slip up, and next thing you know, you're cutting and your blade's into the aluminum fence. As I showed earlier, to cut your miters, your different angles, this knob locks when you go down. So when you pick it up and pull up, it allows you to go anywhere you want. And it does have dedicated stops at various increments. Now if you're in between them, then all you got to do is push down, and you don't have to be at the incremental. You can be anywhere on this scale. Just push down, and that locks your rotating table down. Now here's something I like about this saw. You'll see that they have on both sides, they have this opening to receive your stock clamp. Now, a lot of them have a knob back here. You put your stock clamp in here, and what do they have? They have a smooth piece of metal, and when you're tightening the clamp down, it's clamping on a piece of smooth metal, and it works. But here, what they're doing is they've got a knurling at the bottom. No, you don't need a knob. They just have this knurling. So you put this in here like that. You put your stock in there, and by the mere fact that you tighten this down, as that clamps and jams down on here, it pushes back against here, and the knurling automatically grips the aluminum boss that they have in here, and there's your stock. Nice and simple, like that. Now all the indicators are fully adjustable. You'd loosen that up. So once you get this set, say for a 90, if that's off a little bit or you need to tweak it, you can do that. Same thing with your bevel indicators on the back. Now this is nice. Both sides has this feature. You've got these stops. There's two of them, one at the bottom and then one at the top. That swivel, they move, and they both move independent. So the bottom one is for your 45 degree. If you want to hit 45 degrees and just bring the bevel over, you would put this back here. This bolt would hit that and you'd be at 45. If you wanted 33.9 degrees, you swing the big one over like that, do the same thing, and that indexes you at 33.9 degrees. So let me demonstrate that for you. I'm going to loosen up the bevel knob here to clamp. And if I bring this down now, I'll be at the 33.9, just like that. And of course, this nut has a jam nut on it so that you can, if you need to adjust this, again, fully adjustable. Just loosen that jam nut, move this till you get the proper, till it indexes properly. And they even have it on here. It shows 33.9 on both sides. So everything, you can get this all adjusted properly. Now if you want your 45, just swing that out of the way. You've got your base one there. And now you're all the way over to 45 right there. Now here's a close-up of the locking knob for your bevel when you want a bevel cut. And you can go right or left. This is nice. It's big, very easy to grip. I've got arthritis sometimes when it acts up, but it's nasty. So this is nice and big, easy to clamp and get that secure. Now I want to show you something. When it comes to that bevel, we're going to loosen this up. Now I'm going to show you something. I can bevel it down to the left when you're standing in front of it. But when I go back up, it doesn't want to go any further. So what you do, and this is nice if you're going to be doing rapid cutting on one side and you want a nice positive stop at 90. If you want to go to the right side, again when I say right, that's when you're standing in front of the unit, just take this knob, and it's got a cam action. When it gets to the top, it now allows you to go down to the other side. And you see it doesn't go any further. So to bring it back up, you got to keep it like that. Go past 90 a little bit, bring it down, and now you're right back at right angles to your work surface. Now here's what that handle that they had in the box goes to. Just past where your battery sets, it goes into an opening here. It bolts down. Then it's got two bolts here that you can see. It makes for a nice carry handle. But still, I'm not going to use that because, again, you're still lifting by this head unit, and I don't prefer to do that. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to use these that you have built right into the aluminum base. Alright, next we're going to take a look at the dust collection bag. On the back side of the saw, you have your connector. Simply just put that on just like that. And yes, your standard 1¼ inch vacuum, shop vac, fits in there very nicely. And just behind your motor is where your 24-volt battery will go. Now let me show you while I'm on this side. I showed briefly this. So when you bring the head down, see this opening back here. So when you want to travel with this thing, you want the head to be secured down, just take this, push it in, and when it engages on the back side here, the head of this unit is locked down for travel. Or if you're on the job site and you want it down for safety, pull it out, comes back up. And this has got a nice, there's probably O-rings or something in here. There's something that just keeps it, it's not loose, it's snug. So that way it's not going to rattle around when you're using it. Not sure quite how they're doing that. There might be something in here giving it some drag, which is very nice. The next item I want to show you is the lockdown for the sliding arm. So, loosen that up. And this thing is really butter smooth. It's really nice. Of course, it is brand new, but it is very smooth. And there's no, I checked this earlier, and there's no perceptible play. It's nice. Absolutely no play in this thing. To lock it down, turn it back on. And it does have a spring on there, so when it is loose, it's not going to vibrate, and you know, when it is unlocked, it's not going to vibrate and rotate loose, where this could fall out and lose it. Next, we're going to look at changing blades. Now, they do give you an Allen wrench stored down here at the back side of the right side rear. They give you the Allen wrench, and it's got this grommet in here. It's got an opening back here. It's really nice. You just stick it there, push it in the grommet. Really nice. That you can't really lose. You'd have to really work at losing that. Before I show you how that blade changes, we'll take a look at the action of your blade guard. It's got a nice rubber stop on both sides, so when it hits down at the bottom. Now, first thing you want to do is bring up your blade guard, and with the Phillips, #2 Phillips on the front side, loosen that screw. Well, I guess we gotta take it out further. It's got a little stop there. And then that'll pull out of the way, just like that. And then we'll get our Allen key back here. And on the back side, just on center of this, directly opposite, it's got a arbor lock. So you just rotate this, and when that goes in, you're locked. Then just take your Allen wrench and loosen this thing up to change your blade. And here's that arbor lock I was talking about on the back side, spring loaded. You would just take and push that in. Right there, it pushed in. Change your blade, and then when you let go of it, that simple. Alright guys, you remember that there was a loose knob, and then we also had that spring. Well, there's where that goes. Now the spring, anytime there's a spring behind any kind of a knob, it's so that as vibration, if that spring wasn't there, this thing during use throughout the day, whatnot, would start to vibrate. 9 times out of 10, it's always going to come off, and you'd lose it. So that spring maintains tension, so it can't do that. But what this does, you can adjust the height of your, it's got this metal plate down here. So with this all the way up and it's not down here, your blade comes all the way down. But if you want to adjust the height of that to tweak that, get the maximum cut, you can go down here, let's see, just like that. You can tweak that so that your blade is just above the fence. You can actually adjust that so you can get your maximum cut, raising or lowering it. Alright, so let me demonstrate that depth control knob. We're going to bring this down. Right now, that bolt is all the way up. It's not hitting, so this surface and that surface are going to hit. And you'll see where the blade is well below the surface of the tabletop. So now I'm just going to leave a little bit of pressure on here as I, so I'm not fighting against this. Just enough pressure to where when I turn this, it'll start raising that. I'll let this do the job. I'm not going to fight against it. There's a lot of adjustment there. I mean, it can go up even further. And let's take a look at that blade that you get. 40-tooth carbide tip. The kerf is 0.063 inches or 1.6 millimeters wide. Maximum RPM is 7,000. 7 1/4 inch diameter. 5/8 inch arbor. And it is 40 tooth. They're calling it fine finish. Okay guys, when it comes to the batteries, this thing works with either the 24 volt extended run or your 24 volt ultimate output batteries. Now I know it states that they prefer you use the 6 amp hour. Like I said, I don't have it, so all I have are 4 amp hours. I may down the road buy some 6s though. Now before we fire this thing up, I want to show you the switch. You have this switch in the back that you push, but it's got a nice deadman on it here, which I really like. I like the way they've got it designed with this little indent for your thumb. So what you got to do to make this thing activate back here is you pull back, and then push in. Nice feature. Okay guys, we're going to do the 24 volt extended run battery first. Now it's got just a slight delay, which a lot of their 24 volt, their tools have that. So when I push it in, there's just an ever so slight before it kicks in. Maybe you can hear me, maybe you'll be able to hear that when I do it. Do you hear the click? And then it starts. Next up, the 24 volt ultimate output. Now here you see the tool in its smallest footprint for storage, and to carry it I bring the sliding arm in all the way till it hits back here, lock it down, bring the head down, lock it down, move the miter arm all the way over to the right side, lock it down. Now it achieves the smallest footprint for storage, for travel. It works out really nice. And this thing does have a light on it. I couldn't show it outside, obviously, because it's too bright. But I can come up and hit the button and turn it on without turning on the tool, as you see there. And it will go off on its own. That is really nice. Very bright. Now here's the button up here. I'll turn it on. Now hitting that button again does not shut it off. Once you hit that button, it stays on till it's time to go off, like right there. Now I'm going to turn the saw on. One thing I neglected to show first was that you've got that deadman on either side. So whether you're right or left-handed, you can use either side to activate unlocking that switch. So let's see what happens now when I turn the saw on for the light. Alright, so I've got some cut off pieces of 2x8s here to demonstrate. I don't have any 2x10 stock, but so I'm going to use this piece, and all you old timers know that 2x8s are no longer the 2x8 dimensional in the old days. These are a lot narrower than what they used to be. Now when I do this demonstration, I'm going to push down all the way, slide it out, and come up. Now why do I say that? Now when I did my review of the 7 1/4 inch miter box, the electric model, it wasn't a compound, it was just the standard 7 1/4 inch miter box, or miter saw, 24 volt. Some guy came on and said I was doing it wrong, that because I was starting back here and coming down and pulling forward into the cut, that was dangerous. Supposedly he sent me a link where they're telling you to come back here, go down, and go into the work like this. Now I'm not going to tell anybody how to do their cut. That's up to you. When I did that demonstration, it's the way I cut. Now, I was a carpenter professionally for about 14 years, okay? Then I got into another trade. I still do all my own carpentry work. And when I started out, way back, I would use radial arm saws, those great big huge DeWalt radial arm saws. Don't even know if they build them like that anymore, but we're talking the old big huge 14, I believe it was 14-inch radial arm saws. And you know what you do? A radial arm saw, it can't come up. It's always back here, and your work's out here like this. And what do? You just bring it into the work. You never go back that way. So following that same thing, that's how I always do this. Now you can do it the way you want, but this is the way that I cut. And it's no different than using a radial arm saw, which is a powerful saw. You should never have your hand up near the blade anyways. Okay, if something happens, whether it's a table saw, miter box, radial arm, your hand needs to be away from that blade. Okay, they give you a lockdown thing that you can use if you so desire. If not, I don't use them all the time. I just find that I really don't need to use them. Certain situations I may. But again, this is the way I'm doing it, just like the old-fashioned radial arm saw. Let's try it the other way. Gonna bring it out all the way, fire it up, bring it down into the work, and go backwards. Now, what have we observed? I do not like that at all. Again, you do what you want. But if this is the top side, the working surface, you see how it's splintered up. Whereas before, with the other one, it didn't splinter like that on the upstroke. Okay? So, either way, you've got your blade coming down and wanting to walk across the work. Or, if you're back here, and you're not careful, it could lift up your work. So, but do what you want. But I'm just showing you what I do. You do as you wish, though. Alright guys, this is a 1x10. Now that didn't finish the cut down there. So, that's interesting. Let me raise this up a little bit. It was only down a little bit. So let's move that over. As you can see, it didn't cut all the way through, and that's just a 1x. Alright, let's try this. Okay, it cut through that time. So the next thing I'd like to try with this is to see if it'll cut some aluminum. And so I'm going to change the blade here that came with it. And this is the tool that came with this. And we'll loosen the bolt. Now the next thing we want to do is they give you this combination, Phillips and 6mm Allen wrench, and this, I just don't like the slop, so I'm going to use a Bondis 6mm. It may not show up, but it just seems like it's got a little bit better fit in there. So let me lock the arbor. And now this has left-hand threads. So to take this off, we want to go clockwise instead of counterclockwise like you normally would. Just like that. So I bought this Lennox aluminum cutting, titanium carbide tipped, aluminum cutting 60 tooth blade, and we're going to give this a try. And likewise, when putting it on, now you're going to go counterclockwise to tighten it up. So we're going to try to cut this aluminum that I have. It's 3/8 of an inch thick, 1.5 inches wide. And the battery I'm going to use, now you can't see it very good, but it's only showing 2 bars. And it is their extended run battery. Their regular extended run battery, 4 amp hours. Now to do this, or anytime I'm going to try aluminum, I definitely will not be using this slide. I will have it locked off all the way to the back, and I will use this just as a conventional, say, chop saw for aluminum. I would definitely, myself, be afraid to try to slide it like this and come across cutting aluminum. Just not going to do that. For the stuff I use, I think this would work just fine because most of my stuff isn't that big. I do have a big 14-inch chop saw Milwaukee, a real old one, and if I need anything bigger. But this is, I want to try this because you've got a project and you also have some aluminum stock to cut. It'd be great if you could use one saw on the job, cut your aluminum and your wood at one time, different blades, but with the same tool. Another thing, I took the insert out, being that it's some type of a plastic material. If this aluminum, which is sitting across that, heats up, I don't want it to melt and damage that insert. So I took it out. Another thing I will be doing is using my shop vac to help pull the aluminum particles, because I've cut aluminum on table saws years ago, and it makes a hell of a mess. You've got stuff flying everywhere, so you definitely want to make sure you've got your goggles on and that you're being very safe, protecting your eyes when cutting aluminum like this. Also, I will be clamping this. You know, a lot of times with wood, I don't clamp it unless it's some kind of a strange arrangement. I'll just hold it and cut. But for this, I definitely am going to clamp the workpiece. Let me make sure, yeah, that's good for the test. So I'm going to put this block of wood on top of it for extra security. Make sure that's all the way up against the fence. And we will clamp it down. I don't want to be holding this piece of aluminum. If something happens, I want it completely locked in place. So yeah, that's good. Alright guys, everything's in place. Let me turn on the sweeper. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're kind of hitting here. I should have checked that. This is kind of rubbing up against here, so let me pull that back. There we go. My fault. Okay, let's try that again. Very nice. Oh, and that did get warm. Yeah, did a beautiful job. And you see all these shavings? You do not want these in your eye. And you know, I did forget to put the dang sweeper on, didn't I? Real nice job. Alright, next I'm going to try this 3" by 3" by 1/4 inch thick aluminum. And we'll see how this goes. Well, you know what? Just missed a little bit of that. It's hitting somewhere. Oh, I think it's hitting on the back side here. That's hitting on the back side of the blade. So, but it went through there just fine. The big thing, guys, is let the tool do the work. So just take your time, go into the piece of work, let your tool do the work, and if you have to, you can just finish that off with a hacksaw. The majority of it's already done. Let's see if I can pull that off a second. Yeah, did a beautiful job cutting that. Very nice. So this is a nice all-around saw. You can use it on your aluminum and your wood. And if you've only got one saw and you don't want to buy a chop saw, this Kobalt should fit the bill. So you can see all those little fine shavings that aluminum gives off. And so you want to be very careful protecting your eyes. And that bolt that holds your blade on, I thought I'd give you the diameter and pitch. The pitch is 1.25. The diameter is 8 millimeters. And remember, guys, that's a left-hand thread. And it's about, and I was lazy, I just measured it with the ruler, 11/16 inch long, so you can convert that. You're right about 11/16 inches long. And you know, if you ever for some reason damaged it, lost it, or you wanted to go locally to buy it, that's what you would need. And let's take a look at that bolt, those 3 bolts, Phillips head bolts that hold the plastic insert in. The pitch is 0.80 by 5 millimeters in diameter. And that's your regular standard right-hand thread. And again, that's those 3 that hold the insert, the metal plastic insert in. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some custom inserts. And just in case you need to replace the bolts or anything, I thought I'd give that to you guys so that you have it. Alright, so the rest of this video is just going to concentrate on what I had to do to take these stickers off the base unit here. So if you buy it and you don't have that problem, you might want to just skip this. So that's why I'm saving it for the very end. Alright guys, so I was taking off these stickers, and this one came off really nice. This side came off. There's a little bit here, stickiness. I'm going to use a little lacquer thinner on that, get that off. These, I don't know why they do this. Why they have to have, because these aren't the same height. You take that off, you've got your table. Why they make these so hard to get off, I don't know. So you go to peel it, and as you can see here, there's like 2 layers. You get the top printing part, and then you got this part, and I tried here. So I'm going to try a little lacquer thinner. So I took some of these towels that I have, put lacquer thinner on it, and I'm going to see if it will soften that up. And I have lacquer thinner in a spray bottle. It works great. So I'm going to see if that will soften that up and take that off. Well, I'm letting those soak. May as well take these off. Well, those are coming off real nice. That's where they should be. I don't need all these stickers on there. There's no reason for them to be on there all the time. So that worked out great. Well, guys, the lacquer thinner didn't work well at all. I'm trying this other product here, this Goof Off, kind of like that Gooby Gone or whatever they call that. So, and on this side, this fence, I ended up using the same stuff, that Goof Off stuff, to get, and I still got a little bit more here, because that stickiness, actually, once you wetted it, you could see quite a bit of sticky stuff left behind. So, like I said, I don't know why they have to have these stick on there like that. There's no reason for it. They should just be on there when the customer gets it. You can just pull them off. So we'll see how this product works. Well, guys, that Goof Off kind of softened this insert. I'm going to pull it out of here, and actually I've got to clean off now part of that towel that I had on here. So yeah, there's just no excuse. No excuse for this. This really, yeah, just no reason. So it's gonna come off real hard, but it's got to come off. So here's what we got, guys. I was able to get this side totally clean. It took a while, believe me. It's not easy. I don't know if any of you guys had this and had that problem, let me know. But I took my time. You do not want to use anything sharp. You want to maintain that nice, it's got kind of like a semi-milled surface on here and on here too. It's not totally smooth, but it's got little ridges like milled, like it's milled. So the other thing I tried was a scraper that you use for cooking, like scraping pans and stuff. Didn't do really a thing. What I had to do is just take that Goof Off, soak a rag, set it on here, let it settle a little bit, and just keep getting the edges. And once you get the majority of it, then anything sticky, it'll come right up. So I still got to do this side. I'm going to leave that for another night. I got other things to do here after work. So anyways, but what I did do is call my local Lowe's where I bought this, and I told him, the manager, he's cool, and I told him what happened, what the deal was, and what happened to this insert, you know. So he said that I could take the one off of the, tomorrow night after work I'll go in, and he said I could just take the one off of their display model. So I guess if you guys have that problem, take this damn thing off and don't do what I did. But, like I said, the product that worked is this Goof Off, and I got that at Lowe's too. And I've used this for other stuff, and it works good. But like I said, with this saw, these stickers on here, you really got to work. I just don't understand it. But, you know, just be careful. The other thing is, make sure you don't get anything, because I don't know, like down here, you can see a little bit where something got on. So you want to be very careful that you don't get any of that black stuff off there. Get any on that paint that's on here. So just be careful. Keep everything up on the table. But that's what you want. You don't want that stuff on there like that. You want it nice and smooth, and it takes a little time. So thought I'd mention that so that you don't make the same mistake I made. Alright, so after a lot of work, we got it all done. There was no damage. Everything is nice. It just took a lot of time. Not quite sure why these stickers were so hard on here on the table, because when I went to the store to replace the insert here, Bobby at the local Lowe's, thank you for that, we just took one right off of the display model. The stickers were rolled up on it. I mean, they came right off. So whatever the reason, we got it taken care of.